And welcome to this installment of A Beer with Baron. With me today is Keith J. Taylor, who we just met today for the first time, Keith, which isn't always the case with my guests. In fact, usually I've met some before. But in your case, you just came to my attention in a few ways. One was through the Chicago Public Square newsletter that Charlie Meyerson has developed into such a great must-read for at least 5 days a week. And then more recently at the Oak Park Public Library, you've got an exhibit up. You're an observational cartoonist, you're an artist from Pennsylvania and moved to Illinois, and at a young age you started to draw. And so what was it, that initial spark? What led to that passion?
I think it was the idea that one, I could make people laugh. I could, ooh, wow, he can draw, and it's something that set me apart from my siblings. Couldn't sing, can't play an instrument. My sister and brother are both really smart. I didn't get all of that, but I got some of it. Enough to just make it work. So I like to draw. I always have.
Right. And you just recently celebrated a landmark birthday.
I did. Yep, 35.
Okay.
Very happy to have made it this far.
Times some other number. In fact, though you are younger than a certain resident of Washington, D.C.
That's
true. You may have heard of Donald Trump, and he's been the subject of quite a few of your recent work that's come to my attention. So
the last 2+ years, he's come across my sketchbook quite often.
So tell me a little bit about that, because I know that you've got a book that has his name included in it. Talk about that book. Remind me of the name, and because I know I'd butcher it.
I titled it Mostly Trump and Other Disasters, and I pretty much figure that covers everything. I try to keep it classy, but I also like to express my displeasure with who this person is.
What is it that moves you to create every day? What's that spark for you?
Well, it's nice to have a landing pad for my Trump drawings, and Charlie Meyerson has certainly fulfilled that in spades by picking up at least one, sometimes two of my cartoons a day. I put them up on Facebook regardless, and I do anywhere from 3 to 10 drawings a day. So it's an obsession. That's plain and simple.
So I'm curious, like today, here we are, it's what day? Wednesday. What came to your mind either last night late or early this morning that triggered at least one of your...
Okay, so last night Charlie was at the Readers Awards for the best reader survey.
Yeah, best of Chicago Reader, which congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Well, congratulations to Charlie in Chicago Public Square. He won for best blog, and we had thought I won for the third place in best visual artist or something like that. And it turned out last night he was looking around, and all of a sudden he looked up at the screen, and there I am as best visual artist.
Well, it's nice to have a couple categories to be,
I didn't even know. I mean, I knew I was in one. I didn't know I was in two. So I won one and showed in the other, and that's pretty impressive. So. And
then I think I saw it in today's Chicago Public Square, where you have a figure of Donald Trump looking at it. And what does he say?
He's commenting on the fact that oh great, another cartoonist wins an award and I can't even get a Nobel Prize.
Right.
So because whatever he does or whatever anybody else does, he turn it around to himself.
Yeah, so. I've noticed that as well. So now you've also done some work out of real personal adversity, not just some things that have nationally. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I was diagnosed with cancer of the palate about 1.5 years ago. I said, that's fine. So what are you going to do?
It gives you more material to work on, I guess.
And so I decided my car needed to have the oil changed. I stopped at a place on Madison And the guy comes out and he says, "You can't drive this car. It's going to cost, you don't have any oil in there." I said, "Why don't you just put some in?" He said, "No, it's going to cost you $2,000 to get the car back tomorrow." Okay, fine. So let's see, I got cancer, I got $2,000 to get my car back, and I'm walking home the 3 or 4 blocks to home, where a guy is digging a trench in my backyard to restore power to my garage. That's another $1,500. It's shaping up to be quite a day.
Wow.
And
Murphy's Law in full
so
effect here.
I passed by the BP station, and there is a gentleman down sitting on the ground with no legs, putting air in his wheelchair.
No kidding.
And I just looked at this, and I thought to myself, without stopping, just in my head, that you know, you're not so bad. And that's been my whole process through this ordeal. When it came, the operation went by, and luckily the day that I had the operation in recovery, I'm in the hospital, and it happened to be the world's longest World Series game in history.
Went to like 2:45 in the morning.
Exactly. And if you're going to be in the hospital where they're coming in and poking and prodding you all the time, that's a good place, good distraction to have. So I'm going through this, but every day that I went in there, I did a different drawing, radiation based. And there were over 30 drawings, and they were all just goofy. And I did them so I could show the staff and keep them late. They don't get to see a lot of good outcomes.
Right.
I was inclined to believe and led to believe that I was going to be fine. And this is what I got.
So knowing your skill in art and talking a little bit with you, I know that you're not necessarily filling the coffers of the pharmacies and stores with greeting card purchases. You make your own greeting cards.
I do, and I started that many, many years ago. I've been married for, it'll be 44 years. I have always done a family greeting, a family Christmas card, holiday card. My wife is Jewish, my kids, my cats, my dogs, they're all Jewish. I'm not. But so
my cat's agnostic, by the way, but go ahead.
Well, and probably mine are too. But I liked to draw something personal. I would do these things every year. I did them. I still do them for my dearest friends. I've done their birth announcements. I've done my birth or our birth announcements, moving, sales, whatever.
What is the process like as you're creating a new cartoon?
For me, it's the same way I teach. It's the idea is the thing. The fun begins when I kind of hit on something and then try to get it down on paper. And my tools have come down now to a mechanical pencil, lead pencil, a kneaded eraser, which is a great tool to just kind of waste time with, a smearing stub, and a Uniball black pen. And I will occasionally add color, which is watercolor pencils. But takes me anywhere from 15 minutes to a half an hour to do a drawing. Send it off to Charlie and then post it on Facebook.
So one thing is you've been on the other side of the bar in your career. You've done a lot of different things. So talk about that and how that sometimes you would generate ideas on the job and what you would do to capture those.
Well, as you can tell, I'm not real reticent about talking. And when you're the bartender, you're making people feel at home. Like it's the Cheers atmosphere, I think. You can relate to that. And either overhearing a conversation or generating a conversation, some bon mot might pass by. There's my French. And
bon mot, thank you.
Bon mot, yes. And so something would come in, and I go, wait a minute, and I'd have to go grab a napkin or a coaster, matchbook, whatever, and I'd write something down really quick, hope it didn't run with beer getting all over it, and I'd stash it in my pocket. At end of day, I'd get home, and I'd take all this crap out of my pocket, and I'd look at it, and I'd go, oh my God, what were you thinking? And sometimes there would be something good there. When I was designing greeting cards for recycled paper products, we're on it was like a 1.5 year lead. So I would be designing Christmas cards in
June of the prior year.
Yes. So that, I'd be down in my studio with the air conditioner up and listening to Christmas carols, watching A Wonderful Life, and trying to get in the spirit.
Right.
So it was. I work thematically too. You know, that becomes evident in just the volume of the work I have. I think I kind of eat the same way. You know, the vegetables separated here, and eat that, and then eat that. It's like do this, do this, do this. So,
interesting.
yeah, it's
Great stuff.
obsessive compulsive.
Well, you know, it's great that you've channeled into such creativity that I think is, I know for me, has brought me much enjoyment, and also provides a bit of a release from some of the upset that's going on in our world.
It does.
And so I just want to thank you for what you've brought to the world and what you're bringing to our viewers here, and look forward to seeing what's to come.
It's my pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Thanks so much, Keith.
Thanks, Matt.